Hello garden friends, and welcome to my channel, DK's Garden Oasis. I am Debbie, Master Gardener and Butterfly Raising Hobbyist, inspiring you to bloom, grow, and conserve in your garden. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to attract and raise black swallowtails. And make sure you stay till the end where I share a fact about butterflies and some tips for those butterflies in your garden. So last week I did a video on attracting and raising monarchs, and I'll link that video above. But today I'm going to be talking about the eastern black swallowtails. For me, it was easier to raise the black swallowtails because I have a veggie pod outside that the black swallowtails lay eggs on, and then I bring in a few so that I can show all of you the different stages of the black swallowtails, and to take in some at the end of August that are going to be overwintering. So for the most part though, the rest I leave in the veggie pod, and once they emerge I let them go, and I don't need to clean it because I have soil that the frass goes on and I dump that at the end of the season. I don't need to keep cutting the food for the black swallowtails because I grow fennel and dill in that veggie pod, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. I planted the dill and the fennel early in the spring, and I do have a video, and I'll link that above, that I showed last year how I did plant that veggie pod. But of course, if you do want to raise black swallowtails indoors, they're the same as the monarchs pretty much. You just need floral tubes and a mesh enclosure, and I'll link all of those supplies that you would need to raise any kind of butterfly in the description box below. So I planted the veggie pod in mid-March with dill and fennel, and then in early to mid-May I took the overwintering black swallowtails and I brought them in, and then I spritzed them with a little bit of water, and they emerged about a week or two later, and they laid eggs on the veggie pod, and I raised probably, I would say, close to a dozen, if not a little bit more, in that veggie pod. And as soon as I saw them as butterflies, I would let them go. So then after that, in early June, I planted a few containers of dill because they usually, sometimes that veggie pod is completely eaten. I do have a lot left over, and I'll show you again what that looks like. So I do have a couple of planters, plus when I bring them indoors, I don't really want to put them in floral tubes. Sometimes it's difficult to keep them in water, so I would rather have them in small pots and then bring the black swallowtails in, and I'll show you that in a minute what that looks like. So I brought in 5 caterpillars, and 1 is in a chrysalis right now. 2 are quite large, and then 2 are a little bit different stages. The reason I don't raise all of the black swallowtails indoors is because I mainly raise monarchs indoors. I wish I could have them outside, but I would need a larger enclosure because the milkweed is so tall. At least for the dill and fennel, it's not extremely large. By the time it gets too big, the caterpillars have eaten it down. So maybe someday I can have something outside for the monarchs, but right now I raise mainly black swallowtails outdoors, except for the demonstration caterpillars that I'll be showing you, and the overwintering caterpillars. So back to today's video, the eastern black swallowtail. But first we need to talk about the life cycle of the black swallowtail. The black swallowtail is the most abundant swallowtail across North America. Their host plants are all in the carrot family, so common rue, parsley, dill, fennel, anything in the carrot family you can use as host plants for the black swallowtail. The life cycle of the black swallowtail, they lay eggs on the top of the leaves, unlike the monarchs, which lay them on the underside of the leaves. So they're easier to see for the most part, except they kind of do blend in with their host plants sometimes and are difficult to see, but they are a creamy white egg. The egg stage lasts about 4 to 9 days depending on the host plants and weather. Larval stage lasts about 10 to 30 days. Chrysalis or pupa lasts about 19 to 18 days, except for the overwintering pupa. And the adult butterfly only lives about 6 to 14 days. The female will lay approximately 200 to 430 pale yellow eggs and will lay between 30 and 50 eggs per day. The eggs will turn dark gray before they're about to hatch. The larva will emerge mainly a black with a white saddle. The white saddle is due to uric acid deposits that may function as an antioxidant to protect the larva from phototoxic chemicals in their diet. Older larvae are green with black bands and yellow spots. Larvae pupate in the heads-up position along with a silk pad attached near the rear end of the caterpillar like the monarch, but they are also supported by a silk girdle. Pupas can be various colors depending on their surroundings, and I'll leave a picture above what that looks like. It could be either any shade of green or browns. All swallowtails have a horn-like organ called an ostometeria. It is a bright yellow orange, and when they are threatened, they raise their forked gland with a foul chemical repellent. Nectar plants for the black swallowtail butterfly are Joe Pyeweed, Monarda, Phlox, Gaillardia, Zinnias, butterfly weed, ironweed, and the flowers of the milkweed. Black swallowtails prefer flat top flowers or plants with small clusters of small flowers. And I'll talk more about the overwintering black swallowtail in a future video, but in the meantime, I do have a video last year about how to overwinter your black swallowtail. The black swallowtail overwinters in its chrysalis stage, and then in the spring, they emerge and start the life cycle all over again. They can be in their chrysalis for up to 2 years. So let me show you some various stages of the black swallowtail, and we'll go out and look at my veggie pod where I just saw another one that must have emerged recently. So first I'll show you what we have so far. After the first set of swallowtails emerged after I did the veggie pod. This was in June, where I just planted small containers of dill and just put it outside, and the black swallowtails laid eggs on it, and I brought this in to show you guys. I'll turn this around so hopefully you can still possibly see them. So I thought I'd show you, if it didn't show up good on the other video, a little bit closer up of the different stages of the caterpillars that I have in chrysalis. So this was the first chrysalis, and I'm gonna go in really close, you can see the saddle, and it is like right about here, and then it's attached right about here. So that was the first chrysalis, and it was about 2-3 days ago. So, and this guy is pretty large, so he should go in his chrysalis in a day or two. Then the next size I have is this one here. He is a little bit smaller, but not much. And you could see him eating there. He's actually in the stem of the dill. And this one, like I said, is a little bit larger. And then we have another one over here. This one barely has the white saddle left on it. And then we have this one, and I'm going to try to focus on this. It's going to try to focus on the leaves. I'll turn this a little bit so you can see that the saddle is almost gone, and it's turning that black and yellow with yellow spots. Black stripes and yellow spots. It hasn't gotten its green yet, but it's almost. There we go. There he goes. That one was threatened. Do you see the orange horns going up? He did not like me touching them. So let me go outside and show you the smaller one in my veggie pod. Okay, this is my veggie pod. I took off the top, and right now I mainly have fennel in the middle, and I have some dill in pots over here. There's 3 of them, and there is one way up here, and that one is a newly emerged. I would say that is a few days old. I'm trying to get it to focus a little bit. Here we go. So that is a newly emerged black swallowtail, and I think you could see the white saddle clearly. So this one is a day or two old, and I don't see any eggs so far here, but it's kind of hard to tell. I haven't seen any black swallowtails come through here lately, so that's why I leave the cover off so the black swallowtail can lay its eggs. And this is what I'm saying about it being easy to raise, because I just let the butterfly lay the eggs and it eats the dill or fennel or whatever you're growing, and you don't have to clean it up. And then I do put the cover on at night just so predators don't eat them, and then I uncover in the morning. Side note, here's my green stalk with onions, chives, and strawberries doing very well. So I hope this video was informative and helpful in how to attract and raise black swallowtails. So give it a like and comment below if you raise or attract black swallowtails or any kind of swallowtails in your garden. Next week I'm going to be doing a video on all of my gardens except my home garden. I'll be doing that in a couple of weeks. I'll show you a late summer garden tour. But next week I will show you the status of my cut flower garden, my raised bed garden, and my farm garden. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell for that future video. Now I want to share that butterfly fact and tip. Thanks for watching and happy gardening. Bye-bye.